Okay. So you may have missed it earlier this year, but I think we're like 12-0. I don't remember what our run exactly was with Dreadhorde Arcanist FOMO, but it was Dreadhorde Arcanist is a card that I think is modern playable because of Arena of Glory. The ability to play a discard spell on turn one or a removal spell turn one, and then Arena the Arcanist immediately get to cast a spell, and then it also makes it a really good top deck because you give haste with it. It has been a card that I have liked and we've had some good results with. The biggest problem with this archetype was the lack of cantrips to flash back with Arcanist. All the good card advantage in Rakdos for the most part is 2 mana plus. And like aside from Cling to Dust, you just do not really have a lot of access to ways to draw cards with Arcanist, which is important, right? So you continue to like churn through your deck. Now we have a card that does this. It's Firebrain Scheme, or in paper, this card is called Heroes Hangout, and it's a reckless impulse for 1 mana on the front half, but you can only choose one card instead of two. So you look at the top two cards until the end of your deck's turn. You can choose a card and play that. Basically impossible to not get something off of this with how we curve out at two. And so this is kind of like a red sleight of hand. Which is kind of weird, but the fact that it's in red allows you to build the deck like this. This is really the color pie at work. There is also another mode on this card, which is something we're almost never going to use, but it's 1 or 2 target creatures get +1/+0 and first strike to end of turn. Very minor, but we are a fear of missing out deck. We have Cecil, which has Death Touch. The problem is that this is a sorcery speed trick. If this was instant speed, it would be really good, but we might find lethal with this card. We might even go like, it may be even the case that like just like playing it and flashing back gives you 4 extra damage with fear of missing out, and like that just is lethal sometimes. Does this need Tarfire over Bolt? I mean, we're a Nethergoyf FOMO channeler deck, so I tend to think Tarfire is better than Bolt, yeah. Especially because it just has big upside with Nethergoyf, making it even bigger. I usually play Tarfire over Bolt. Other things on this build, we're playing 3 Cling to Dust to the main deck, which I think really helped the sideboard a lot, where this is just like, this gives you a lot of equity against Flage, which seems really relevant today, a lot of equity against Gorios, and also the extra card selection from the Arcanist. I'm really feeling them. I don't know if there's anything else too crazy here. Maybe we would want to play one more Fire Magic with all the Boros we've been seeing today, but we also had a really good record against Boros when we were playing this build in the past. We tried it again when the red leyline that copies spells came back out. All right, I think we can keep this on the draw. No black mana is obviously a little bit awkward. I'm updating the Mox field as we speak also. So my opponent leads on a Polluted Delta. It was post MH2, okay. I just remember like when Strixhaven came out. Strixhaven was pre MH2, right? I thought that's when we were working on it. It all kind of blurs together. They graveyard a Plains. Then they play a Frog. So if I look at the top card of my deck and it's a Blood Crypt, I need to cast Tarfire so I can cast Thoughtseize for Delirium. It's a Heroes Hangout, which is kind of the same thing. If I could Heroes Hangout into black mana. So I think obviously we just have the upside of like drawing a fetch land and then Tarfiring and like killing the frog and not letting them discard the whole hand. I think I'm okay with them discarding the whole hand. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I'm just not that likely to beat it. Maybe I could just not this turn. Maybe I could just, yeah, let's cast the hang. Let's try to find black mana. I think that is going to be really important. And if we miss, we still have the heat available. They're doing some reading. Okay, we do find Mire. Okay, and so we could cast Thoughtseize to try to play around Gorios, but if we were trying to play around Gorios, it seems like it might be better to just hold up to Cling to Dust. And then if they went for Gorios, if they discarded the tracks and cast Gorios, then we could heat the frog. So I think that's going to be my plan. Obviously, they could just be a blink deck, and then we maybe get punished for not like playing a black spell this turn. The upside seems really high. We also, I guess, have the upside of like casting the Thoughtseize to reduce their hand size so the heat can kill the frog maybe next turn. Second frog, though. Best 2-mana creature in the history of MTG. Hermit Druid probably is. That's the one that like comes to mind at the very least. Yeah, I do think a Johnny's also better than Frog. Although not by a lot. Yeah, maybe Goblin Recruiter. All commander players go fast as Oracle. So they are playing Goryo's. Let's go ahead and take the ending. Yeah, FOMO also better than Frog. That's Oracle. Like in the context, like Oracle's not that good in Modern. Oracle was very good in Pioneer. Oracle very good in Commander. Like it's fine in Legacy, but like it's not like I don't know how big a deal it is in Legacy. It might be a really big deal. Like if Commander and Q, like I think it's really just Commander where Oracle is so crazy. Like if you just start talking about 60 card formats, I don't think Oracle's that impressive. No, yeah, I don't think FOMO is better than Frog. I think a Johnny as far as like modern 2-drops, I would put a Johnny and Raptor over Frog. Do we wait to heat the one that flies? The problem is they can save the one if I wait because they just have enough cards. Okay, well, them drawing Riddler when they can ephemerate the Riddler is kind of a nightmare top deck for us. Maybe not as bad as them top decking Agorios, though. Yeah, people, yeah, Raptor is banned in Modern. People still think Raptor sucks. It's crazy to me. Like no one, people still. Okay, when they chose the prismatic ending instead of ephemerating the Riddler, so that was obviously one of their draws. Wait, oh sorry, they also drew the ephemerate. I somehow didn't see that. Well, that sucks. Probably just gonna go to game 2 in a second. Let's see if we can find a heat. All right. I guess we'll Thoughtseize for a little more info. Like Amped Raptor would just literally be like 2 mana, cast a Johnny, 2 mana, cast a Blood Moon, 2 mana. They have 2 Gorios. What the fuck? And another Ephemerate. 2 mana, cast a Blood Moon, and get a 2/1 first strike. 2 mana, cast a Johnny, get a 2/1 first strike. 2 mana, cast the Wandering, get a first strike. And people would still be like, this card sucks. This card, I don't understand. I never understood. That's that, I guess. Okay, we're gonna cut the Tarfires, gonna bring in the Surgicals and the Orb. I don't like Trespasser very much against them. It's not the worst. Why am I not exiling the target? Why are they not exiling the target? I mean, people miss it really often. I guess I should have targeted my own stuff. Yeah, sometimes Amped Raptor was 2 mana, 2/1 first strike, cast the One Ring. It's like like the upside of the card is unbelievable. Yeah, the problem with Ashiok is like it's just too bad against their Psychic Frogs, and we have 3 Clings and 2 Surgicals, so we're not really hurting for Graveyard Hate, I think. Yeah, on the play for game 2. Triple Arcanist. I guess we should mulligan. And kind of regret it. Another 1-lander. I think we've got to keep on 6, though. Probably just putting back the Inquisition. We'll surveil into a land for sure. Gotta graveyard that. You're forgetting that people think stats and creatures don't matter. Yeah, that is something too. I think people like, oh, it's just a 2/1 first strike that also casts a 3 or 4 mana spell, and and so I don't know. I don't know. I guess we take the Solitude. The Surgical would have been great against their hand, but their hand is kind of weak. Permission to play 1 Kinrinth in the 4-color Cascade deck. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I don't think I would personally. They keep a card on top, so this is either a Frog, Teferi, Solitude, or Goryo's. think there's not that many other cards that they would keep. So it's not Frog. And now that we drew the Surgical, we want it to be Goryo's. And so I think we can just play the Channeler here. Okay, so it's not Goryo's because they didn't cast the Mending. So I guess it could still be Teferi, it could still be Solitude. It could be Riddler, actually. I didn't think about Riddler, but thankfully it seems to not be the card. Let's see if we draw that second land. Let's see if we draw that second land. Thank you. Firebrain Scheme. Plus the Surveil. Okay, maybe it's a little bit early to thank the card. Okay, thank you. So we are one type away from Delirium. We'll see if we get that off this Thoughtseize. Are they going to sink the Thoughtseize to my hand? That doesn't make any sense, right? Okay, I mean, I don't know what this means. Maybe they do have the Ephemerate plus Riddler? I don't know. Maybe they do have the Goryo's and they're trying to go Mending Goryo's, but like, why wouldn't they have Mending previously? Ooh, Absent Advantage is pretty good with Arcanist, huh? Don't know if I'd splash for it. Oh, it's just enchantment. It's not artifact or enchantment. I guess that might be worse anyways. Do you think bad cards in the ban list should be unbanned like Pod or Glimpse? I think Pod should be unbanned. I think it's a fun one that I think it would be a fun card to brew with, and I think it would also be the kind of like classic iconic modern card that I enjoy having being legal. I don't know about Glimpse. I think Jite is a card I'd like to see unbanned. Yeah, I think as far as like as far as bad cards, I think Jite and Pod would be fun. Like, I do think Glimpse is worse than what's the card? The one where you shuffle up and put permanents into play. I do think that is the better of those kind of cards, but that card also doesn't really see any play for whatever that's worth. So only one Gristlebrand. So they have one Attrax in their hand. We could flashback the Surgical on the Goryo's this turn, maybe. One Wrath of the Skies, two Thoughtseizes. They have their own Surgicals, which is odd. Okay, let me start off by Cling to Dusting this Faithful Mending, which means that like that makes my desire to exile to Surgical the Riddler, Surgical the Goryo's much smaller because it's just very unlikely the Goryo's me next turn. But let me first play a FOMO. We have to discard the Heat to play the FOMO. Orb is a pretty interesting draw. So why don't we just go ahead and Thoughtseize the Ephemerate? Leave them with just the Atraxa. I've been saying that these Universe Beyond sets, Spider-Man, Avatar, are intentionally underpowered, so they should unban some fun cards to excite modern players. Okay, they graveyarded Atraxa, so now they can top deck Goryo's. That would fucking suck. And so they try to flashback the Faithful Mending that's not there anymore. That's good news. Watch the Arachne Brew from yesterday. Yeah, that build's been really fun. Definitely want to keep working on it. All right, we'll graveyard the land here. So I think we're going to probably start off by flashing back the Surgical. I guess we might as well Firebrain Scheme first to see what we see. All right, I'll choose the Goyf. Then let's go to combat. Untap Dreadhorde Arc. Oh wait, I don't have Delirium. No. That's okay. What Thoughtseize instead for making Universe Beyond Unpowered? They're not. They're just standard sets. Is my opinion. Is that they aren't underpowered. They're just standard sets. Okay, we're going to game 2. Sorry, going to game 3. think I like our sideboard plan. I'll say this card's looking pretty good so far. Let's run it back. Pretty small sample size, but it has played way better than I thought it would. And of course, my dear sweet Zathis, who asks me every day to play Dreadhorde Arcanist, asked me about this deck, is the reason I'm playing this deck, just to some extent, isn't here today. I think on the draw I'm going to keep because we've got the scheme. This gives me 4 looks at land number 2. It feels like there's a significant power level drop between EOE and Spider-Man, but maybe I'm wrong. You're not wrong, but Edge of Eternity is like the most powerful standard set since like the Fire Design era. Like Edge of Eternity is like way above the power level of your average average standard set, especially in the context of modern, because Warp is a mechanic that plays way better in modern than in standard. But Spider-Man is more powerful, I think, than, I guess it's not as powerful as Dragonstorm. More powerful than Final Fantasy, but that's also Universe Beyond. Maybe I don't know, maybe you're onto something, but maybe you're onto something. Spider-Man, I think is also playing a lot better on modern than I expected it to, for whatever that's worth. I'm not sure what that's worth, but that's kind of been my experience so far. What do y'all think? Do we go after the Gorios? It feels like I can play around Wrath Solitude kind of easy. It might not look, the Gorios might not look that scary, but Surveil lands make them pretty scary. Duskborn was like weirdly pretty high power level too. What was the last non-Universe Beyond standard set before Dragon? So it was Edge of Eternity and Dragonstorm. Oh, was it Thunder Junction? Listen, I'll take any Universe Beyond over Thunder Junction flavor-wise, I think. All right, so they play at Marsh Flats. Okay, let me look at my top card. Oh, Aether Drift. Okay, I liked Aether Drift. Zathis is here. All right, let's go. Hell yeah. So that's not a land. Okay, let's go ahead and Thoughtseize this turn. Their hand is really slow. Ooh, I'm gonna take the. I think I have to take the Riddler. Feels kind of gross if they surveil a creature in the yard. They surveil a creature in the yard. Okay, sink. Now the Gorios becomes a lot less dangerous. We draw another Nethergoyf. I guess we don't want to play 2 of them next turn, even if we draw the land, because they still got the Wrath. They play the island. Alright. We've missed on our first 3 looks at a land. Come on, Firebrained Scheme. Let's go. It's hit every time so far. Let's play a Goyf this turn. Get some pressure down. Seeing their hand, I don't think it demands a Thoughtseize. Spike, is Brood-Scale a good deck? Yeah, I think it's been a good deck. It had a good result at the Pro Tour. Brood-Scale is a combo deck that's capable of winning turn 3 and also gets to play a ton of cheap, relevant interaction, which is a really good formula. It's kind of, in some ways it's kind of like Twin, where like you have this combo that's really fast, but you also get to play Glaring Fleshraker and K Command and Urza Saga and Emrakul. It's like you have a lot of card selection, you have a lot of interaction, you have a lot of resiliency, and all of that's a pretty good formula. I don't think I'm playing the second Goyf here. My draw's obviously been bad drawing all these heats. Yeah, I have a Symbiote Spider-Man build of Rakdos that I've not. Okay, they mill the Mending, so this gives them some more looks here. Really good surveil for them. People were playing Indulgence over Mending for so long. Mending is so much better. So they discard a Frog and they discard a Gorios. Well, I really like seeing that they probably have a Frog in their hand. Like I don't think that they're discarding Frog here that often. Wait, they did? Okay, well I guess we'll play the Arcanist with hopes that it trades with the Wrathless guys. I'm surprised they kept Wrath over Frog. And they kept another good spell too. Maybe it's another Gorios. Why not take Gorios? Well, I'm not beating the Solitude. I've got a lot of graveyard hate to draw into. I kind of regretted taking the first Gorios. Well, the fourth Unholy Heat is not the best card I've ever drawn. I guess maybe they could read that I was stuck on removal, which is why they didn't take the Frog. These are the only removal spells I have in the deck post board. Let's cast that second main phase. I do think they still have a Gorios in their hand and then a mystery card. Card Voyage Home. Draw 3. That's a card that I've seen in action a few times. It's looked pretty slow. It is, I think people like kind of see affinity and they kind of assume it just goes in, but like in practice, I just don't know how good that card is. It might be better in practice than I think. But it is one that I never got around to testing. So they're out of Surveil lands, and they notably don't have a green Surveil land or a Traxa, which I do think is something you should have when you build these decks. They top deck Prismatic Ending, which is like the best draw for them by a lot. I guess we could have surgicaled it. Doesn't seem like that's necessarily a great play. Let me cycle this Cling to Dust. I'll target Agoria's Vengeance, maybe. Maybe that's worse because I could still surgical. Please draw a Psychic Frog. Just things that they did draw the frog and they just looted it away. I'll keep a Firebrain Scheme, I guess. Do I want Arena? I think I'll take Arena over the Surveil land. Like just my FOMOs and my Arcanist get so much better with the Arena. I think I can start escaping the Cling to Dust. Also play a Scheme. I guess we'll play a Scheme this turn. This makes it where if I hit a land, it's not so bad. I hit a Channeler, which I guess I should play. It feels pretty likely that they have a removal spell, so I'm actually gonna not haste the Channeler. If I had a 2-turn clock, I probably would. But it's just such a disaster if I haste and I can't escape the Cling next turn. Is Violent Urge good in a deck like this? I think this deck is too like mid-rangey. Like you want to be generating a lot of card advantage. Like you're not aggressive enough to play a Violent Urge, I think. Okay, sold up the Cling. I mean, our hand is we can beat their Goryo's plan and we can beat their maybe I should surgical their Riddler, actually. How do y'all feel about surgically? I feel like surgical Riddler is great here. Because that's like the one card I can't beat. We could just delete them from their deck. Maybe I can beat it. But I feel like this game is just way easier if they don't have any of these in their deck. Oh, wait, they do have a Hedge Maze, but they had a Marsh Flats. Okay, so they could maybe hardcast a Traxas. Yeah, I think that drawing the second surgical, it makes sense. I don't think I'm almost ever doing this. I only have one surgical, right? Although I am kind of scared of them just being able to hardcast a Traxa now. All right, so let's get rid of one of our 2 lands, or sorry, two of our 3 lands. I guess I want to leave the Bauble in the yard for Goyf. We can get rid of one of the 2 Thoughtseizes, the Inquisition. Oh, there's 3 Thoughtseizes. Okay, so kind of an easy first exile because we have to keep both Delirium and extra types for Goyf, and we also have to keep cards for Arcanist. All right, I guess this is our line here. We're gonna go Haste FOMO, Haste Channeler, and discard one of our 2 Unholy Heats. Knowing that their hand is Solitude and an Ephemerate, it's kind of easy to play around. I guess they could go exile the Channeler and then try to block the FOMO, which we would just have to accept, I guess. Because we know they have the Ephemerate. Okay, and if they do this, then yeah, we just wait on the heat. Take Solitude with Surgical. Oh, so yeah. I guess Mislethal here. They didn't get their Surveil land, which is lucky for me. I guess they're a bit worried. I just didn't have I don't have the range in me to play 2 fair Surgicals in a game. The hand is Ephemerate, 2 mystery cards. It is kind of nice that they seem reluctant to crack their fetch land. If their 2 mystery cards are both Ephemerates, we can complain. We can haste the FOMO next turn, so I don't think we need to keep this land. They could have Gorios in their hand, but we have the Surgical, so I don't think we're interested in drawing that. Okay. Am I ever interested in main phasing this? I don't really think so. So we'll see if they crack the Surveil for the Hedge Maze to try to find Atraxa at the top deck and hard cast, which notably we can't beat. They do have a 4 in 28 chance. They graveyard a Delta. I think we're kind of beating every other top deck here for the most part. Right, that is kind of interesting because this gains them enough life to survive the Channeler hit. So they could stabilize if they have a Solitude. They discard a Surgical and a Swamp. So they have to have a Solitude to live. Let me just go ahead and Cling to Dust. So we can go for a Surgical play next turn. But let's just see what we draw. Okay, second FOMO is interesting. So if I go haste FOMO, untap here, untap a FOMO, they Solitude here, and then they go to 1. But if we Surgical Solitude, we have lethal still, and there's not really anything else they can have. And if they did have Solitude, then they would have to pitch Atraxa if that was the 1 mystery card. Their hand is an Ephemerate and a Mending, so we should win. What a game. It did miss lethal that one turn. I have not played too many fair Surgicals lately. Surgical and Riddler felt that was a weird thing to to do. Glad that we won despite drawing all 4 of our removal spells at such a weird time. When I was doing the deck tech, I thought about, okay, they keep 7. We're gonna keep this on the draw here. I thought about mentioning that in the deck tech, and I thought better of it. Are we up against Titan? Possibly. Let's we lead on Channeler. Do I miss streaming in my living room at all? I like the setup here. The amulet is exposed at the moment. So we only have 1 Ashiok in this board. It's kind of high on the curve. We also have I think the Surgicals are like pretty okay against Titan. Uh-oh. How is WotC not touching standard when 3 decks make up 64% of the metagame on Goldfish? Well, Wizards is really committed to no scheduled BNRs. This is something I've been really vocal against. Or vocal about. I think that the scheduled BNRs are really big net negative. It seems like they're really committed to keeping them. And there's not a lot we can do about that. Okay, looks like we're dying on turn 2. Yeah, I know we could have cast the Inquisition. I was thinking I was going to try to maybe grab a Summoner's Pact with it next turn. It's tough to play around the turn 2 win in general. We could have played around it and then died on turn 3. Okay, so I'm gonna bring in. Oh, also the orb can get brought in too. So I'm kind of interested in these, and I just don't really know if I want to bring in Meltdown or not. So I want to cut 3 Tarfires and 1 Unholy Heat. I think 3 Heats is kind of nice with the orbs. I think I want to cut the Inquisitions. I want to go down to like one cling, maybe no clings. I think I don't like Cecil very much either. First Cecil's probably okay. So like 1 Meltdown. It's just so hard for Meltdown to be good, but we can also like loot Meltdown away with FOMO sometimes. I think I'll talk myself into 2 copies and then reassessing for the future. I okay on the players go with surgical. I think I agree with that. That might have been better. All right, we'll keep this. The swamp is a bit awkward with this hand, but I think seems like a fine hand to say yes to. So I'm gonna play the Channeler and then a Surveil land. Okay, I'll keep the Thoughtseize, I guess. Yeah, you could play Shattering Spree with Arcanist. The thing is, Meltdown is still just pretty good with Arcanist because you get to flashback and kill all zeros. You know, with double Firebrain Scheme, we might actually get to Dreadhorde Arcanist to Cleansing Wildfire. Alright, let's get ready to rumble. They find an amulet, they find a Lotus Field, or an Arboreal Grazer. I have to imagine it's going to be one of these two. They also mill over Escape Shift. They can play the amulet off of the rumble. Like 1 spree over 3rd Meltdown. I think you could do that. The thing is, like, targeted artifact removal isn't even that good against Affinity. I don't know. I think you should just play all the Meltdowns, actually. Okay, so they did grab the amulet, which maybe we can take with the Thoughtseize and then Wildfire the Urza Saga. Let's go ahead and see what we're working with here. Graveyard that, I think. Get a little closer to Delirium. Yeah, seems kind of like a clear take amulet, Wildfire the Saga. We see a FOMO, we could get Delirium, although I'll just keep another Wildfire. So no Delirium, but Urza Saga contained for the time being. Wait, I thought I saw 2 Titans. I didn't realize that there was also an Ice-Till Explorer there. Fuck. The Ice-Till's gonna be pretty hard to beat. They do have to Legend Roll Boseiju to play it this turn if they don't draw anything. I really thought it was 2 Titans. I still have to take the amulet, but... Or do I have to take the amulet? I don't know. They also have Shifting Woodland for Ice-Till, so it'd be kind of tough either way. So their hand is Primeval Titan, Boseiju, Grazer, Ice-Till, Mystery card. Chat, how did they cast this Ice-Till Explorer? They have 3 mana in play. Oh, did they already Legend Roll Boseiju? No, they didn't. What just happened? Wait, what just happened? Oh, they sacked the spawn. Okay, sorry. Okay, sorry. Thank you. I'm like losing it over here. Okay, then they play Boseiju from hand, which is probably worse than the field. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Okay, thank you. Okay, then they bog me, so it's gonna be very hard to fatal push the Ice-Till. I was doubting my reality for a second there. Okay, so we could surgical their Titan and stop and get the last Titan out of their hand. That seems like the first thing to do. Nah. All right, so FOMO, discard FOMO, so we have Delirium and can actually pressure our opponent a little bit here. Fair surgical new meta. Well, if you think surgically Primeval Titan is fair, you might be right, and we might have a problem. I guess one thing they can do that'd be really bad for us is to play the Lotus Field, sack the Bog, and replay the Bog. Are they going to sack the Saga so they can replay the Saga? That seems like what they're setting up for. But no, they decided to just sack Boseiju and Bog. And so they got 1 card in their hand. Their Titans are surgical. I can maybe find another surgical. We could get rid of the Aftermath Analyst, and winning the game could be kind of tough for them. I think I'm taking Harebrained Scheme. Or sorry, Bauble instead of Harebrained Scheme. So I do have Delirium, which means I can make kind of an okay attack. Let me see what my top card is. I might, if it's Heat, that's really nice because I can cast it. Otherwise, I probably just want to Wildfire the Saga this turn. Although I don't know, maybe I want to let them have the Saga because the Meltdown is kind of set up for it. Don't really want to let them double block like this. Yeah, I think it's better to do this because otherwise it forces the Meltdown and they just get to replay the Saga anyways. And I do want to surveil over the Thoughtseize. So I could have cast Meltdown for 0, I guess, but it seems worse. Okay, so we've got an Arcanist, but the thing is they're just going to exile my graveyard again next turn, maybe. Oh no, so they can't because the Lotus Field is still in play. That's good. Weird game. I think you lose to Analyst here. I mean, if they have it, right? They only have one card in their hand right now. There's another Saga, though. Very odd game. All right, so let's, I think, save the Meltdown for post-big Saga turn, right? I don't like seeing that, so let's fetch and surveil. Cannot get an Unholy Heat. So I could haste the Dreadhorde Arcanist, and I guess I could cast Meltdown and then haste Dreadhorde Arcanist, and then I could flashback Firebrain Scheme. And then maybe I could flashback the Meltdown again later, but I would get to attack with, like, everything. Maybe I'm also okay just trading. Maybe I'm just okay trading Arcanist for Construct. I don't think I need to be okay with it. I don't know. Very weird game. Firebrand Scheme will just be for damage. Well, with all these Grazers in play, I don't know if that's the move. First strike means you don't lose FOMO. I'm not getting first strike. FOMO can't die to 2/4. They could block with the 2/4 and the 1/1 on my 2/3. Where is the first strike coming from? Woodlands into a creature? It's just a Grazer. I surgical their Titans. I mean, I can't really imagine their last card's that good, but I think we might as well cast the Thoughtseize. Very weird game. So graveyard this Thoughtseize. Echoing Deeps, and then we'll cast the Scheme. Firebrand gives first strike. Not if you could give first strike with it. Which I guess we maybe that was better, but I feel like I'm trying to dig for some action instead. Oh no, they just get to block again. Okay, well I did blunder. I guess. Yeah, I guess I should. I think I'll just pass with the Arcanist still up for next turn. That's where you said first strike. Well, I mean, I think we should have just untapped the Channeler and then just cast the Scheme instead, right? That seemed a bit better than this. Yeah, I do think Surgical is getting better against Titans since they're playing so many Rumbles. They top deck Soul Guide Lantern, which is pretty annoying. I get 40 months, 47 months, living the Arcanist deck. Me too. Scheme on the first, attack for power, then Wildfire. That might have been a better line, although it's just like, it's just not really accomplishing enough. Yeah, the ice still really wrecked me there. I've never seen that card. What deck is bad versus Belcher but good versus everything else? Well, I would have said Titan, but then Titan had a winning record against Belcher at the PT. I'm going to play the Cecil turn 1 here. Yeah, I've never seen this card. Well, does it even exist? Okay, here it is. Urza Saga, format, modern. Don't think it's been... Surely someone would have cast it at some point. Yeah. Cool card, though. Well, too bad all my Cleansing Wildfires are in my sideboard, I guess. So go down to 15 and 13, so I'm a little short. I do think being able to Thoughtseize of Mycospawn might strand their Devourer in their hand, because we don't see any Eldrazi mana yet, so I think I'm going to prioritize the Thoughtseize here. So I'm right about the Mycospawn. They have an Ice Till. See if we can find Delirium. If Raise was legal, why would anybody play Boom Bust? Does the Bust half ever get cast? Well, what's nice about Boom Bust is you can target your own indestructible land, so you get to break the symmetry, which isn't something you can do with this Raise card. So they rumble, but they don't find any lands. They do find Talisman, so I guess if they take a Talisman and they don't cast the Ice Till this turn, then they could have double colorless for the Devour the following turn. They do take the Talisman. They play the Forest, so maybe I want to just Unholy Heat the Spawn token. Okay, can't Unholy Heat it, or sorry, instead we can just Tarfire and save the heat for the Ice Till, which should be there, or hopefully will be their only play next turn. Right now their hand is Devourer plus Ice Till. And they don't have the second colorless. Any horror game streams for next month? I'm getting married next month. Okay. Not going to be a horror for me, I tell you what. What's the best draw? Maybe Arena. I think Arena of Glory is lethal. Yeah, Arena is lethal. They graveyard a Ghost Quarter. Don't want to draw that. The hand is just a Devourer, so we're doing pretty good against that. We don't draw Arena of Glory. I guess I just cast the Arcanist. Is a Raise Alpha card? It said it was from Urza Saga. I just never seen the card before, and when I see a cool card I've never seen, I just like to take a little peek at it. So they get the World Breaker back. 4, 5, 6? Wait. 4, 5... They don't have a... You know, why? You might just not be able to do anything next turn. Where can you find the link to the PT when I break down? It's Frank Karsten posted it yesterday. We had it pinned yesterday. I guess if you watch yesterday's VOD, you can find it. It's maybe not the best plan. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Wildfires. We're going to cut the Tarfires. We need Wild, not Tar. Going to go down at least one Inquisition, if not two. I think the first Inquisition's like okay. In fact, first Tarfire is probably better than third Cling to Dust. It seems fine. Imagine how good Belcher would be if everyone wasn't packing for Consign. I don't know if that's that big a problem. Like Tamashi and Flusterstorm and Tamio, it all gives you a lot of equity against Consign, and Consign is usually pretty telegraphed. I think that the good Belcher players are pretty good at navigating around Consign. Well, this might be a tough curve to defeat. Okay, I like seeing that. Let me see what they're drawing. They're drawing a Forest. So I think I'm going to Inquisition to try to take K Command or maybe another Mana Rock. Okay, so this does not let them cast Rumble next turn. Or sorry, cast the Ice till next turn. This Wildfire is now very odd, because if I Wildfire their land, they can cast the Ice till. Maybe I need to be off the Wildfires if Ice Till is so popular. Although, like, I don't know. It's, like, much better against the Tron version. It's better than Charmaw. It's still against Titan, I think. And obviously, it's better against Belcher. Oh, right. Somehow I forgot they were drawing Forest. So they have no cards in their hand. They mill an Emrakul. What do we draw? Oh, perfect. Well, I guess we don't have Delirium yet. So let me see what my top card is. It's another Cleansing Wildfire, which I would kind of like to draw, but I think what we need to do this turn is cast FOMO, discard Cecil, so we have Delirium, and then we can Cleansing Wildfire, the Sprawl, or the Labyrinth next turn. 3, 4, 5, this again. They don't have any lands in the yard, and they don't have 7 mana, so it shouldn't be the scariest turn ever. Their best draw is probably Rumble. I mean, it's K Command. That's right. It's K Command. Okay. Let's target the Sprawl. So with the Arcanist, I could flashback a Heat and Inquisition, or I guess Inquisition. Neither seem particularly good here, I guess. I mean, the Heat could get good, depending on what they do. I could also maybe just Surveil something good into the yard. The amount of time they tanked there makes me kind of think that they have K Command. That being said, I think I'm just playing my whole hand here. Hasting the Arcanist still. Okay, well, they just concede. Actually, I don't know if that was better than hasting a Channeler. But we're 2-1. Deck's looking pretty good. GG Derp. Here's Hangout's been great for me. Yeah, Hangout is playing a lot better than I expected it to. Absolutely. I like Jed's card a lot. I think it's very thought-provoking card. Looks like out of most played decks, Tide had the best win rate at the PT. Yeah, that's what I figured. And it also, like, in theory, wasn't a metagame that was super hospitable to Titan either. But I don't know. I'm not surprised, and that is what I predicted. And it is what it is. You think he'll try Hangout and stock Prowess? Well, I don't know. So, like, for most part, Hangout or this card, whatever, Firebrand Scheme, it's interesting more so in decks that don't have access to good card selection. So, like, Ruby Storm or Rakdos Arcanist, like a good card selection spell, and the Rakdos Arcanist is it doesn't exist, and it feels like a good fit so far. But as far as like a blue deck, like I would play Preordained over Firebrain Scheme most of the time. Although maybe I am undervaluing the card selection aspect. I think I'll just go ahead and cycle the Bauble. A little worried about Bowmaster, although I probably shouldn't be. Counterspell, huh? Am I the only one who hates cards having 2 names? I'm in that club, I tell you what. I'm on board. So I'm going to cast Channeler off Blood Crypt. If my opponent counterspells the Channeler, I have Delirium, and then I can just play Cecil. And oh, sorry. I guess maybe I should just play Cecil anyways, but get it out underneath. But I didn't realize I already had a creature. We tried Arena of Glory Riddler. No, I do have an affinity build that, like, it plays Doc Ock's Tentacles, and you tentacle the Riddler, and then you equip Lava Spur Boots, and you attack for 9 in the air. But I haven't actually played Arena with Riddler yet. It's not really that efficient because you have the red mana floating. Could be okay if you have double Riddler, maybe. We needed to Tarfire. Wait, why did you want a Tarfire? Just for Delirium? It seems better to cast a creature, and then the scheme can give me Delirium next turn. So they graveyard a mismatched counterspell. We could Tarfire ourselves to flip Cecil next turn, maybe, but don't know about that. Tarfire instead of Channeler. Well, I just don't know why you would. Oh, for the Delirium. I don't know. It seems like not a good sequence. So I'm gonna see if I can find the Thoughtseize to get the counterspell to haste the Channeler, or maybe they'll just counter this. It seems unlikely. Okay, great. So we're attacking them for 8, down to 5. If they tap out for Oculus, they die. They're not dead on... It's kind of perfect, though, because they don't know they're dead on board. Or they're not dead on board because the Tarfire is what gives me lethal against Oculus. Is Rakdos good? Seems kind of good. Yeah, we could Tarfire self to flip Cecil, or we could have lethal against an Oculus, which... One of those seems better than the other. Okay, not a lot for Frog at the moment. Frog hasn't been that popular. I think the Trespassers are kind of okay, mostly because they're like resilient. Surgical's okay if we see a lot of like unearthed stuff, but we didn't see any of that, so I think we can reserve that for game 3 potentially. We also have the Clings anyways. Yeah, my sweet, sweet Luris. Where are you? I miss Croxa. My black mid-range is probably so bad. I mean, it is still pretty good to Arena of Glory Croxa. The thing is, I think the Clings fight for your escape cards too much. Especially in this deck, where just flashing it back with Arcanist is pretty good a lot of the time. I'm really glad they banned Gigantha. The banning Gigantha was so sick. The card was just so annoying. Like, we would just play it in this deck and win with our random hasty 5/5s. Okay. Any hand that can discard a frog is going to be a hand I'm going to prioritize keeping. They keep 7 on the play over there. Sometimes like 1/2 copy of Cori to Juke Graveyard. Hey, that's kind of interesting. Wouldn't it be... Oh, dude. Discard spells against Tamiya, though. I hate. Sometimes you got to play the spells you draw. Did you ever consider including some number of Echo of Aeons in the VV Cauldron Shell? I didn't think about it. Kind of an interesting angle of attack. Especially if you could fit Bowmaster in there somewhere, I guess. You have to draw a fetch land, which they don't currently have to cast the Murktide. They should have made 10 new campaigns to get the power level instead of banning it. That's an interesting thought. Oh, so I guess they just surveil any card in the yard. We got bailed out by the Heat. It's an interesting angle. So like for I would even say that Gigantha didn't have a super high power level, although it did get buffed a lot by Arena of Glory. But it was just so free in so many modern decks. That was of course the big problemo. So the hand is Murktide. They played the basic island and then 2 mystery cards. Oh, the basic swamp also. 4 cards left over there. So I think we just start off with Cling to Dust to get Delirium, and we might want to play a different black card than Thoughtseize, although probably not. Okay, we could haste Channeler. I think not playing the Thoughtseize is probably... I mean, their hand is Swamp Mystery card. I think the Thoughtseize will still be good because of the Tamiyo. I think we graveyard that because we can escape it later. Potentially with Arena of Glory. Remember people would argue not playing Luris in the sideboard to burn? I know, it drove me crazy. That was the old Affinity players never cracked their Mishra's baubles. Remember a deck tech where someone, yeah. Every time I had Giganta in a deck, people would ask why it was in there. I remember that. Actually, during when I was testing for PT Lord of the Rings, we were considering the like Semblance Convo Anvil deck I was working on for a little bit. But one of my teammates just would not play the Giganta, even though it could be part of the combo because you can imprint it to Anvil. But he's like, it's not worth the sideboard slot, which I also thought was funny. So I can kill the Tamio and deal them 1. Could also deal them 5. Wait, is Heroes Hangout lethal? I think the +1/+0 on Heroes Hangout is lethal, right? It's +3 damage, and I only have 5, so it's not quite. Right. Do they have surgical in their hand? What are we doing here? Was the percent team? I mean, they just had a misevaluation. They're a very good player. It's okay to not understand the intricacies of Anviltron. Second Tamio, huh? I think we still kill the first one. You only have 4 damage. Tamio applies both swings. Oh no. Dude, Tamio's broken. This is a disaster. I don't even get to flash anything back with the Arcanist. Working on an unstable amulet. Is it playing the new 2-drop? I mean, Zero Flage is probably wrong because it isn't. It also triggers the amulet. Zero Flage is probably wrong. Seems fine. Seems pretty normal. Maybe a little too grindy. Is Anviltron dead in the water? It's definitely weak to a lot of hate cards you don't want to be weak to. So we're gonna have 5. Let me see what my top card is. We know that they have Stern Scolding and they also have Sink. My top card is an Arena of Glory, so I am pretty incentivized to escape Cling to get rid of that arena so I can have a better draw. If I were to escape the Goyf, I could exile a Heat, a land, a creature, and a Thoughtseize, which the Goyf would be a 4/5, so it wouldn't die to Scolding, and it could attack pretty effectively. But then I do have to draw that Arena of Glory. It seems okay. So exile land, Thoughtseize. Oh, sorry. I must have the Inquisition too. Heat. But I only have 1 creature after this. Okay, so it's still the same size. I just got the sorceries and the creatures backwards. This doesn't get Scoldinged. I guess I attack with. I'm obviously attacking with everything, and I think I just send everything at Tamio, and I think that maybe it's not the case. Maybe I just send everything at them. They're at 8. Tamio, I know they can sink. They're gonna sink the Goyf, right? Or they might sink FOMO. Wait, do I get to cast something with Arcanist? When it attacks, you cast target instant or spell mana value less. I think that the power shrinking is a problem. So if I attack like this, they just go block here. Then the other Tamio, yeah, it's just they take 2 damage. So I think I need to go at this Tamio, and then we untap the Channeler, and so it's a 2/3 now. And then if they go block it at first, and then block it again, then this Tamio dies. I'm active player, yeah. So I'm active player, so my trigger goes on the stack first, then their trigger goes on the stack after, which means the Arcanist has 0 power. Yeah, Hangout has been really good so far. So then they're also gonna bounce the Goyf, I'm assuming. And so then the Tamio takes 1, and then the Tamio will take just 1 more damage. We did punt this game. So I didn't realize that the Tommy would trigger after I attacked with the channeler the first time. Yeah, whenever I play games like this, I am reminded of the chatter who called Tomio a vanilla creature. Very exposing the amulet kind of comment. Random question: Esper Sentinel can make a comeback as a non-hammer exclusive card at some point. Yeah, Sentinel's still a good card, I think. It's better in some metagames than others. It can be kind of a higher synergy card because if you can buff its power, or if you're playing Mox Opal, it gets a lot better. But yeah, I think the Sentinel's still good. I've definitely played it in several non-hammer decks and felt like I was really happy for playing it. Better in some metagames than others. Right, so they just have Scolding as the only known card, right? Better job. So it seems like they're gonna flip the other Tamio. Maybe they're not. Why would you play Sentinel over any of the other 1-mana white drops? They send it to Timberless outside a hammer. Well, it's not so bad to have just 12 really strong 1-drops. You would play it if you had artifact synergies. You would play it if you had ways to buff your creatures. I don't know. I don't think it's all that complicated, is it? Okay, so if this FOMO gets countered to the Scolding, then my Goyf becomes a 6/7. I think because I have second arena, I'm gonna go ahead and haste this one. I don't think I would if I didn't. What do you think about playing Snakeskin Veil to buff Arcanist if you're large enough to cast Flame of Venor? Play Mutagenic Growth instead. Okay, so I can attack them. Then this will become 5 power. Then yeah, I guess I attack them with the Goyf, and then I attack these at the Tamio. Untap the Goyf. Pay only 1 haste mana for the FOMO. I mean, I'm not going to use my mana on anything else because they're going to Scolding the FOMO. We know they have Scolding in their hand. But I guess technically it's better if for some reason they didn't, or they're always going to though. Wait, what is this? Oh, they have Fatal Push. This Tamio is never gonna die. I'm right about this Dreadhorde Arcanist thing. I don't. Maybe I should have asked any judges in the chat. But I'm right that if I attack with this Arcanist, I don't get to flashback like Inquisition. Why did the blue-black Murktide deck fall off? It's kind of part of the natural metagame cycle, I think. I think it's kind of posed to come back a little bit. Although I will say that Quantum Riddler is that card existing is such a nightmare for the archetype. And then they like try to play Quantum Riddler and it sucks. It's a target card, but the target card no longer really go upon resolution. Okay, that is how I think it works. Just wanted to make sure. Would ever build my own cube? I have in the past. They cling my Goyf, which is interesting. Because I kind of think at this point my cling is more valuable than my Goyf. Although I guess they could just also escape and they could cling my cling. I want to draw a Heroes Hangout so bad. I guess we will go to combat. And if they tap mana, we'll cling in response to cling. The board is pretty stalemated. We lose Delirium. I know. But we get to draw a card and they don't, which is just more relevant here. Yeah, it might pump with Heroes Hangout. Probably not. Very interesting that they just played into this. Also just get Delirium back next turn out the Thoughtseize. Yes, please. Yes, please. Although we still have second Tamio to contend with. You think Tamio is a good sideboard card against control or slow matchups? Maybe out of Affinity Board. Tamio is not a sideboard card. She's just like a 1-mana generic. It's like sideboarding Tamio on Affinity is wild. If you can cast Tamio on Affinity, probably just good in your main deck, and then this enables you to play Mox Amber. Also, you know, I'll say this: when you're going, do you think Tamio is a good sideboard card against slow matchups? Like, what slow matchup is Tamio really good again? I don't. like none really comes to mind besides control, you know. There's no longer Jund mid-range to decide in here. Beltra's Tommy on the sideboard. I think that might be an exception to the rule, or maybe that proves everything I'm saying wrong. Although you could also just main deck it. What is their last card that they're attacking here? I wonder. Is Boros Synergy the new Jund mid-range? Kinda. Way better, of course, and it plays differently, but they can't Murktide, right? They're one short, aren't they? Oh, Deluge. Okay. So let's see what they're drawing. They also have this clue token. I think I'll just cling their cling first. And then I guess I'll surveil first. Oh, wait, where am I surveilling? Both surveil lands are in the yard? Or in exile? I don't know how that happened. I guess I surveilled them. Alright, finally found the Firebrain scheme. Almost merit to arena there? Maybe. No, we don't do deck techs anymore. Haven't done them in years. I think if they had Murktide, they would have cast it. Alright, between Cecil and Cecil, I choose Cecil. But they're going to get to ultimate the Tamio if I don't find a creature to haste off of Arena or an Unholy Heat. Yeah, I do some deck techs during downtimes. I can... Okay, there's a creature. One that actually gives me exactly lethal. And this Tamio... Oh no, they have... Oh wait, they can't Otawara my Trespasser because of Ward. And I still have lethal, right? No, because of the Tamio ability. What a stupid game this has been. Okay, so let me go ahead and exile the Deluge so they can't pick that up. I guess they wouldn't have enough life anyways. So we attack the Tamio with both. I have to attack Tamio. I know I do. Let me exile the Tamio. So the Tamio is going to go down to 6 if they Otawara the Cecil, and then it's going to go down to 5 if they don't Otawara the Cecil. And the Cecil should transform if they don't. Maybe they'll mess up, and okay, they don't. Oh, sorry, off. Turn off. Magic Online. I guess it's my fault, but sometimes Magic Online. Cecil doesn't transform because Tamio. Oh, that's true. Stupid Tamio. Okay, Tamio's at 8. I'm losing it over here. I do have a lethal attack. Let's cast Hairbrain Scheme. Firebrain Scheme. A Channeler has got to be better than a Thoughtseize here. Although if I exile this FOMO to go for the lethal attack, I do reduce too many card types in my graveyard. So I no longer have the lethal attack. The thing is, there's not really any card that beats my Graveyard Trespasser. Pump? What does Pump accomplish? There's just like I guess they can have exactly Orcish Bowmasters. Pump lethal for good. The I deal a damage with the attack. Okay, not super cleanly played. We are 3-1. Let's go and get a 4-1 prediction going. A beautiful Dreadhorde hand. So let's keep on the draw. New matchup. Another Polluted Delta opponent. Gotta lead on the Thoughtseize because of Frog. I think go Blood Crypt because of Cecil. Am I really taking Faithful Mending? I kind of have to. I could take the Ephemerate, I guess. I just get to like time lock them by taking the Mending. Yeah, we could be nice and take Gristlebrand. That's true. We also draw Cling to Dust and Cling the Mending, and boy, would that be a combo, huh? I go down to 12. I think that's fine in this matchup. You regret your vote? I mean, we won this. We're main decking 3 Clings. We won this matchup already. I don't know. Awesome, Zathis. I do think this deck is going well. I appreciate you commenting about it too. Right, they do keep a card on top, so maybe that's a Goryo's to go off after they Mending. No, it's a Frog. Do a little scheming. So I can draw the Cling to Dust, and I can heat the Frog. Oh, I can also just attack with the Arcanist, and then flashback Thoughtseize, and then I guess I'm just pretty happy if they discard the cards to kill the Arcanist. And I can take the Ephemerate too. Maybe I should take this Goryo's Vengeance. I mean, I am about to draw Cling. It's pretty telegraphed, though. Okay, so if I take Goryo's, they go block the Arcanist, discard both their cards. They can Goryo's before I draw Cling. That's a good point, too. It's really telegraphed. If they eat Arcanist, you have Delirium. Yeah, I know that was kind of like the whole point with this attack. Or part of it, at least. Okay, so maybe now, because I don't really have a good way to. I don't think clinging the Frog is gonna be right because I need to save the Cling to hold for Goryo's, and then also if I heat the Frog, they can just Ephemerate to save the Frog. Let's just Inquisition them, and then they misplay by not discarding the Ephemerate, which kind of an easy misplay to make. It's interesting they just discard the Atraxa end of turn despite having this Mending in the yard. Another mistake by them, I guess. So we draw Cling to Dust. They have no cards in their hand. So would we think that if they drew Goryo's, they would cast it right now? There's a Delta. Faithful Mending from hand to mill 2 cards. You regret believing now? Who said that? Sleffer, you regret believing now? Against my paid actor. Alright, then they discard Quantum Riddler Ephemerate. 2 cards that aren't known for doing anything. I guess we'll graveyard that so we can flash it back with Arcanist. We already have one, but I think another one's fine. Okay, I'm gonna be nice. There's no way they frog and respond. There's just no way. I'm not that nice. But we're supposed to cling our own graveyard, because they could exile in response to cling. There was like about a 0% chance of that happening. So I decided to exile the cling instead, or the mending instead. And they do have a card. Looks like it's a prismatic ending. Yeah, mending is so much better than indulgence. It pitches to solitude. It can be discarded to frog for value. It can be surveilled for value. Kind of shocked people took so long to make the switch. Okay, this deck's feeling kind of real, y'all. I don't want to get anybody's hope up. Did I Thoughtseize them? Seems safe enough. I need to get the basic swamp so I don't draw my swamp off the Bauble and not have the clean up, I guess. Feels real until we face Chalice. Well, to be fair, that card isn't seeing play at the moment. But if it does see play, it'd be pretty bad for us. Although you could just sideboard like K commands and meltdowns and stuff. Alright, up a game again. I think we got a pretty clean sideboard plan for them too. Yeah, we did not play around Psionic Blast very well. The 3 life we gained off Cling wouldn't have been enough. Okay, let's keep this on the draw against Espergorios. Zathis with the 5-pack, thanks so much. Oh, there's gonna the campaign starts tomorrow, but with the new sponsor, part of the sponsor deal is they're discounting a bunch of subs for 50% off for the campaign period. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Thank you for the 5-pack Zathis. If you got a gifted sub, make sure to thank them. No, Ashiok. I don't like it against Esper. It's really just an anti-Titan sideboard card. It's like it gets attacked by Frog. They can still Gorios through it if they just have Frog to discard and then Gorios. Easy to play around. We haven't cast the other side of the scheme yet, but there's been a couple times where we've thought about it. I think there was one spot where it was time. Yeah, no, I think tomorrow I'll announce it, although I don't think we're actually doing any segments for the sponsor tomorrow. But no one's guessed it yet. Gonna definitely help pay for the wedding. my highest fate sponsorship, but it's just, you would expect it to be something. I don't know. No one's gonna guess it, but it is a product me and Esther own, and I don't know. It's a funny that I don't know. You'll understand. You'll understand. Okay. I think I just played my own Arcanist here, actually. No, it's not a game or anything, so there's not going to be any like segments. It's just going to be some ad reads. And I think all of the ad reads are going to happen in between rounds of tournaments, so it's not going to really distract from the stream schedule basically at all. But it's like it's I don't know. I'm excited for it, but it's like it's just not a product you would expect to be advertised on Twitch, maybe. If I block here, they have to discard 3 of their 4 cards. It seems okay. Karen, the 15 months, welcome back. Must be fish tank related. Oh, I would wish. Is it recurring or one-time thing? It's for like a period, so for the next 2 weeks or so. Discard pest control. No bedroom stuff. I try to keep the stream kind of family friendly, although I swear a little too much. Did they reach out? They reached out. I've never reached out to a sponsor to be like, please. Although maybe I should. Oh no, I have a rep now. But I actually didn't get this through the rep. I got this one like through Twitch itself, which is also never happened. Okay, so we can scheme and then we can go. We can scheme and then cling and then keep delirium and then heat the frog. But I guess they do have 3 cards in their hand still. I think we'll do this. They have 3 cards in their hand. Oh, I can't Inquisition to get a card out of their hand. Maybe I could do that next turn. Yeah, so we'll just flash back the scheme. Don't think I want another Arcanist, so they'll just take a Goyf here. Can play it next turn. Have other people we know sponsored already. I've never seen it sponsored before. Like it is a product that we use, and it's like it's a nice thing to have. And I've never I've never heard of them doing any sponsorships on Twitch. I think it's a first time thing. But we'll I'm pretty sure I get to announce it tomorrow and then do the actual stuff for it. Starting Friday. No, it's not. That was just warmer. Oh, it's close. I see. Misread. All right, they've got 5 cards in their hand. They graveyard a Traxa. We have the Surgical up though. From a flavor perspective, why does Arcanist have Trample? I don't know. Good question. Another scheme. Let's start with the Inquisition so we could maybe heat the big frog. They discard Ephemerate. They're lured in. It's good. And so this means I'm not going to be able to heat the big frog. Good chance I lose to it. At this point, actually. I could Surgical the Atraxas now, maybe. Although they could just stop that with the Frog Exile, so I probably shouldn't. I'm definitely gonna play this. Okay, so let's kill this frog. Yeah, if I Surgical, they can activate their frogs, and it seems like they've woken up a little bit, so let's respect them a little bit. But yeah, it's like it's not like we really get a lot out of that exchange anyways. We have to tap mana or like pay life in a spot where we don't have a lot of mana or a lot of life. And to me, it seems better to try to scheme into like another 1 mana creature or maybe a heat. Okay, nice. Also no push. I don't know. We've been beating the frog decks. Like heat is a bit more versatile, but it's like specifically frog is the problem card with no pushes. I'm not like the most worried about it. But maybe I should be a little bit more worried about it. So them flashing back the Mending allows them to gain enough life that I'm not presenting lethal right now. I have if I can get a FOMO or a, I guess I boarded out my Tarfires, but that would maybe be enough for lethal, but we might just need to cling to gain life. They find a Prismatic Ending, which is kind of the worst case possible. Then presumably they... Oh, wait, no attacks? Okay, let's go. Okay, Thought's is not a very good draw. Can't Heroes Hangout lethal? Oh, it could have. Not anymore, though. I could escape a Goyf this turn, maybe. I'm gonna play around them knowing what's up with Frog. In general, I recommend respecting your opponents instead of thinking that they're not going to play well. The last game, it was kind of clear that they were F6'd and tilted, but if you can respect your opponent, you should respect their skill. And now I need to decide if I want to throw away this Dreadhorde Arcanist to kind of be presenting lethal next turn. I think that so. No, I guess I have lethal if they don't attack. Cling to draw to look for heat. Yeah, I think the main way I lose this is if I go attack with both, scheme to pump the Goyf, then they hit me with the frog and they just draw a removal spell. I'm like losing that game really hard. But like with my ability to Arcanist for life gain, if I don't throw it away right here, I think that this is going to be a bit better. And they did draw the removal spell. And they do attack. And they give me the ability to block if I want. Which I might not get next turn. There's also more types for this Goyf in the yard, which I might just flash back. Makes Arena lethal top deck, maybe, because I can haste the Goyf. Okay, interesting. I don't think they've flown the frog yet. I do think we should assume they know they can. Well, that's maybe not the best place to see the Arena of Glory. Do I allow Surgical Extraction to be a top deck? I don't think that there's much reason to do that. When I can just go FOMO, discard FOMO, then escape a Goyf. Okay, welcome back. Just give Spike his Unholy Heat, shake my head. So discard one of the FOMOs, one of the two Clings, and the Mire, I guess. Yeah, Hangout has been way better than I expected it to. They have no cards in their hand. Oh, they have a Riddler and Warp. When did that happen? Not on my radar at all. Could double block. 7 damage? Just discard both. So if I can get my Goyf back up to 6 power, that would be pretty nice. Channeler. Cast a Channeler. Let's cast Surgical. Don't think the difference between 5 and 7 is very big here. They drew Solitude white cards, so maybe it is pretty big. Lupo with the 4 months, thank you, welcome back. You're talking about... Oh no. Crack the Earth? I think you're talking about Crack the Earth. The 1 mana thing that makes you each player sack a permanent. Okay, so that's a 6 power Goyf now. They wake up. They don't wake up. I feel like this just never happens on Magic Online that they're playing Breeding Pool instead of the Surveil Land, that they do the thing. So we have another FOMO. So they have to chump block the Goyf, and then I think they're just dead. Attack, attack, attack. They chump block here, we untap it, and then they go to exactly 0. This might give me something off the Arcanist. I think Breeding Pool stock. We just played against the Hinterland Harbor earlier, but you might be right. Alright, I think we got there. Oh, I wasn't counting the FOMO damage. Looks like they go to -2. I guess I can go to 8 and be alive. That was the reason not to cast the Thoughtseize. For some reason I was thinking I couldn't get rid of an instant, but I forgot about the Surgical going to the yard. Did they live? No. They should just be dead, right? Because, I mean, they can block here, and then they can take... Wait, they block here, then they take... Oh, they can go to 1, can't they? Okay, they messed it up. Yeah, Channeler and then Goyf put them to 1. That being said, they would have had the top deck anyway, or like they would put me to 1 after they frogged me. Woo. So some mistakes on both sides. That was a good looking league though. Lost to Titan, it's gonna be a tough matchup. The Wildfires were not great. Belcher has been kind of non-existent. Belcher's been kind of non-existent. So I'm interested in playing more of this deck tomorrow.